Ladies and gentlemen, today we are hitting a milestone. This is the 100th episode of the Chit and Chat Encouraging One Another podcast. Thank you for every guest, every musician, every person who's listened to this podcast. Thank you for joining in and following and subscribing to this very unique, encouraging podcast. The Chit and Chat Encouraging One Another podcast. Never compare your journey with someone else's. Your journey is your journey, not a competition. Let's get it going today with a brand new episode of Chit and Chat, the Encouraging One Another podcast.
This is Chit and Chat, the Encouraging One Another podcast. Interviewing musicians, comedians, sports personalities, and many other individuals all over the world, sharing their story of encouragement, inspiration, what they've been through, what they've gone through, as well as amazing musicians from all over the world. Kick back and relax. For some amazing people you probably have never heard of and their story. Each of us have a story of hope, of courageousness, of inspiration. This is Chit and Chat, the Encouraging One Another podcast. It's always about encouraging others.
Hello there, and welcome back to Chit and Chat, the Encouraging One Another podcast. I'm so excited to have you back for another fun, exciting...
I'm so excited that I just can't hide it.
episode. I hope you're entertained.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
I hope you're entertained by the amazing musicians and artists and folks that interview, just sharing encouragement and positivity and just having fun conversations. In this episode, I'm featuring music by Corey James Grubb, his song Killing Time, Sean Adams Williams, Big Bruno, and Kirsty Krause, Something New. My guest today was born in Erie, Pennsylvania. She comes from a household of 6 with 3 stepsisters and a half-brother. She started acting at 12 years old, and at 18, she starred in a big production of Barefoot in the Park as a fundraiser project. And she performed skits from the old classics like Carol Burnett, I Love Lucy, and Dig Fed Die. And fast forward here in 2023, and she moved to New York and became a part of the bunch of TV shows and movies. She's also a professional dog walker. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chit Chat Encouraging One Another podcast, Jolie Haregsin. This podcast has given me the ability to reach some amazing musicians and have them on sharing their song. Here is Corey James Grubb, Killing Time.
been on this troubled road, been lost and I've been found. I've seen the belly of the beast, been high and looked down. Lord, tell me why am I afraid to face my fear? I've been lying to myself for all these years. Well, it's easy come, easy go, that's how I spend my days. I lock my troubles in the drawer and throw the key away. My life is flashing before my eyes, and I'm just killing time. When the rain comes pouring down, thunder rolls, such a lonesome sound. Oh, the weather is wearing me down. I'm losing track of time, dear Lord, I haven't slept in days. It's a dangerous game, but there's pleasure in familiar pain. Well, sometimes it's aces and sometimes it's faces, but most days it's twos and threes. I've been so many places, left without a trace, like a feather floating on the breeze. Driving 90 miles an hour down the interstate. Got a date with the devil, wouldn't dream of being late. Oh, wheels, won't you carry me home? Take me back to where I belong. When the rain comes pouring down, thunder rolls, such a lonesome sight. Oh, the weather is wearing me down. When the rain comes pouring down, thunder rolls, such a lonesome sound. Oh, the weather is wearing me down.
Corey James Grubb, Killing Time.
Hello there.
I'm back.
Gotta love technology sometimes. It's always something.
Oh, yeah. I just outed myself as a 26-year-old technology inept girl.
Well, welcome to Chit and Chat, the Encouraging One Up podcast. I'm speaking with Jolie Haregsin today, and I'm excited to hear more about her and just kind of pick her brain a little bit as well. I got some icebreaker questions for you. 5 to kind of pick your brain a little bit. Are you prepared? Are you ready?
I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
What is your favorite thing to do where you live?
Honestly, this is going to sound weird as a girl who is a dog walker for a living. I love walking around New York City.
Okay.
It gets me every time. I always find something new to look at that's just like fascinating and historical.
Nice. And where we're at in New York?
I'm currently in Chelsea, Manhattan. That's where I live.
I've been to the East Coast a long time ago. See, a friend, a youth pastor in New Hampshire, Boston. We got tickets to see the Red Sox, and I've been to Cooperstown. So I kind of been in your neck of the woods once before.
Gotcha. I've never even been there, but I would like to go there because sometimes it's nice to get away from the hustle and bustle.
Number 2, what are your top 3 favorite desserts?
Oh gosh, cheesecake's number 1. I gotta. I'm in New York and I just love cheesecake. Number 2, I'd have to say it's like a good chocolate mousse, not a bad one, a really
Okay.
good one. I'm willing to spend good money on it.
Dark
And
chocolate or
then,
milk chocolate or
ooh, dark chocolate. I'm the weird kind that likes like as dark as I can possibly find,
okay.
and then I make it darker. And number 3, I'd have to say it's probably good old-fashioned cookie.
Mm.
Can't even pick my favorite one, just a cookie.
Homemade, fresh, out of the oven.
Oh, definitely fresh and homemade. There's so many good places in New York City. My aunt was just here and she introduced me to a place called Chip City that had an eclair cookie.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was like stuffed. It was fascinating.
I'm a big oatmeal raisin kind of a guy, and either
Oh,
peanut
yeah.
butter. Just oh man, I'd dip a glass of
Exactly.
milk.
That's why I just said cookie.
Yeah. Number 3. What's your favorite thing to do to wind down from a stressful day?
Probably play like a little bit of video games and then
Okay.
watch a cooking show. I'm very much like in between old lady and young,
Okay.
where I'll play a little bit of video games and then I got to get my cup of tea and watch some Hell's Kitchen.
What video game do you play?
A lot of Pokemon. I love my
Okay.
Pokemon.
Okay.
I'm currently working on Violet and I already finished Scarlet. They're both pretty much the same game. I just wanted to play it twice.
And what's your go-to cooking show?
Definitely probably Guys Grocery Games or Chopped.
Oh yeah, I like both of those. Oh yeah, I've
I can
getting
never go wrong.
my wife and I really like the Crime Scene Kitchen lately. That's a fun game to watch.
I've been meaning to watch that one because I love Joel McHale. So I
Oh
know
my
I've been meaning to
goodness,
watch it. I
you
keep
got
forgetting it's out there.
that's a good one. Yeah, I'm usually way off and just like wrong. My wife's pretty accurate to guessing what it is.
Yeah, that's why I think I would have so much fun watching it, especially with my mom. That's usually who I watch a lot of my cooking shows with when I can.
Okay,
And then, of course, I'm here alone. So I watch it by myself.
there you go. Yeah, the next time you're out with mom, you just find it on find it and watch the episode. Say to me what you think.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to be watching Crime Scene Kitchen.
If you had a movie, it was about your life. What genre would it be? Action, romantic, thriller, perhaps a comedy?
Dark
All the
comedy.
above. Comedy?
Dark comedy. So it's funny, but there's there's realistic elements to it.
Okay.
But the things I've been through, very much a comedy.
And last question: what's your least favorite food as a child, and why? And as you're gotten older, do you feel you like it now?
I don't know if I ever had a not favorite food as a child
Mm.
because I loved like broccoli and stuff like that because
Mm-hmm.
my mom always told me they were tree stars from the land before time, so I loved them.
That's awesome.
And to this day, still love broccoli, still love everything. You know what? I'd go with the classic Brussels sprouts. I don't
Okay.
know if I ever had any as a child, but I'm sure I would have hated them.
Yeah, I eat a lot of those. Red Lobster, they bacon with bacon, and oh my goodness.
Oh,
For me, it's
nowadays, it's the best thing ever. I love a good cooked Brussels sprout.
and for me now, it's salt and vinegar chips. As a kid, I just couldn't stand them. Now I'm 53. I love those things, man.
Oh, I was a weird kid. I would just down those in dill pickle lays like double fisting.
It's awesome. Uh, wasn't too bad for a few questions off the top of your head, huh?
Yeah. I like to use my, charm that I've been told that I have that I don't see, but other people do.
All right. I feel your charm through this interview. How about that?
Much obliged. I feel yours as well.
Thank you. Would you mind sharing with the listeners a little bit your old brief bio about yourself and where you're from? You're from New York, right? And were you born and raised there?
Oh, no, I was raised in a tiny little Amish town in Pennsylvania, and it was lovely at times. It was beautiful to look at, but, small town culture. So I grew up in Cambridge Springs, Pennsylvania. It's actually got a lot of history,
Hmm.
and I like my little town. It's just lately it's not as great as it used to be, which is why I say I'm from New York City now.
Mm-hmm.
And I originally came here because I wanted to be an actress.
Mm.
And I had actually gotten a postcard in the mail from an acting conservatory up here. And I was just planning on staying local, going to like Point Park University in Pittsburgh for acting, something like that. And then I got a random postcard from the American Academy of Dramatic Arts
Hmm.
offering me a little audition. So I took a shot and I went for it. And that is one of the, honestly, to me, funniest stories is my audition for that school because I don't know how I got in, but somehow I did. And it was the best 2 years of my life at that school. I met so many amazing people, and it really just further drove my passion for acting going
Mm-hmm.
to there. So when I graduated from there, jumped right into film in Pittsburgh, did a couple movies and TV shows there. Then I went and worked at Disney World for a while. Then I went back home, and now I'm back here.
You began acting at a very young age. Was there an actor or actress you enjoyed watching and like, ooh, that'd be awesome to do, act?
Oh, 100%. Carol Burnett, Lucille Ball, all the classics, anybody from Golden Girls. And also, I've recently remembered this. My first favorite actress was, I can't even remember her name off the top of my head, but it's the blonde woman from Casper who's the villain.
Okay.
I remember vividly as a child saying, I want to grow up to do that. I want to be the villain. Just
And
play them, not be one as Jolie. Just play
okay.
villains cathartically. You know, you can be a villain to somebody and then, you know, curtains down, you give each other a big hug, go for a drink afterwards.
Nice. And did you feel acting was meant for you? Did it speak to you like I gotta act? This is something that's in my wheelhouse. I can do this.
Definitely, because I stumbled into it. I was like 11, 12 years old when I just randomly met this wonderful woman who became my mentor named Mary Beth McCarthy, and she was a server at Perkins. And she's like, "You seem really shy. You should do theater." I'm like, "No." And she's like, "My twin sister is in a musical." I'm like, "Gosh, no." And my mom is like, maybe you should though. You're not very good at sports. I tend to hurt other people when I do sports. So we gave that a shot and I found out, yeah, this is where I belong. These are my people. I never got along with anybody at my school. So I like found my little family. And I was like, yep, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life.
Nice. Was it someone who encouraged you, inspired you along the way during your career, or you could spitball with and brainstorm with, kind of give you tips how to be better?
My mom and Mary Beth and Joe Galbo. Those are my trifecta. Those three people have been the most inspiring, they have been the most supporting, and they have helped me through every step of the way, getting through the little milestones I had to get through high school to get to the point that I could go audition for a school in New York City that was honestly founded by Cecil B. DeMille's uncle. And we have the privilege of saying our alumni is Grace Kelly, Robert Redford, Danny DeVito.
Wow,
I could go on forever.
that's crazy. Can you share
Yeah.
about your experience when you acted in Barefoot in the Park when you were 18 years old? And did you believe that was one of your stepping stone to help you to kind of just catapult in acting?
That was actually the biggest one. That was the one where I met Joe Galbo. And I had never done a straight play before, you know, without doing some song and dance. I'd
Mm-hmm.
never been brave enough to do that because I always hid behind the music.
Mm.
And so I got this opportunity, and you know, I was 18. I was like, Corey Bratter is supposed to be like in her mid 20s, early 30s. There's no way. And I actually auditioned for this play at my hotel room at the yacht club at Disney. And I called Joe and it was the fight scene between Corey and Paul where it's like really like, Rrr. And I was like, there's no way this guy's going to give me the time of day in terms of picking me for Corey Bratter when he's got all these other fantastic women who auditioned.
Mm-hmm.
And he called me the next day and he's like, I'm giving it to you. I think you could blow this out of the water with what you did over the phone.
Wow.
I want to see what you can do in person. And that became one of the most successful shows I did, and definitely the most fun.
How do you prepare for acting gig over the phone? With your facial expressions are key in acting, I believe. I've done one play at church. That's it.
Mm.
But over the
It
phone,
all
that's crazy.
it all comes from the heart. He said he heard everything I was feeling.
Mm.
Because that's the thing about acting. Everybody's like, "Oh, you're a good liar. You should be an actor." No, acting is the most truthful thing you could do under imaginary circumstances.
Mm-hmm. You also helped raise money for a very historic theater, and you got to perform in your scene you just mentioned, Carol Burnett, Isla Lucy, Dick Van Dyke shows. What was that like
Ugh,
portraying those, doing those?
it was such an honor because I actually contacted all of the like estates of everybody to get permission to do the skits I did, and it was just, I did it myself, and it was my baby, and it was really cool to step into some of those roles. I actually didn't plan on stepping into any of them. I just wanted to direct.
Mm-hmm.
But then, things happen with actors. So I ended up stepping into, we did Went with the Wind, which is one of my favorite Carol Burnett skits ever made. It's the one where she has the curtain dress, and my grandmother took the time to make that for me.
Wow.
And it felt like I just wanted to do them so proud. Like that was my whole goal with the whole thing, and I really think that we accomplished that. I wish I had video recording of it, but it got kind of messed up. But just the fact that I did that and raised money, and the theater paid me nothing. I spent nothing. We all just came together and made that thing.
That's fun. That's awesome. Can you share about some of your early audition experiences and some of the processes you had to go through for trying out different roles?
Oh gosh. Flying by the seat of my pants a lot of the time. Because growing up in little town Pennsylvania, I didn't have like acting teachers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I never went to an acting class until I went to college. So it was kind of just like learning by doing. So it's like, all right, I have to be a mean person. Think of something that really makes me angry.
Mm.
That or somebody that really makes me angry that I really want to tell off with not the words I'm saying, but the emotions I'm saying.
Okay.
Or like if it's sad, I'll just throw on a sad song. Like it's all about just not having nerves.
Mm.
That's the biggest thing that'll take away anything you've done is just be zen, be cool. Go in there and be confident that you know what you're doing, even if you don't.
What are some things you picked up throughout your career you kind of put in your back pocket and use as you've done different performances and shows and movies and whatnot?
I've actually picked up a lot from doing behind the scenes work on like The Crowded Room.
Mm-hmm.
I got the privilege of being put very close and featured with Tom Holland. So being able to watch his process and what he did, it's just kind of like watching what the big guys do
Mm.
is sometimes some of the most informative things for me in terms of somebody that wants a career in film.
Mm-hmm.
And with theater, it's just kind of depends on where you are.
In 2018, you did the Disney College program. Can you share a little bit about that?
That was one of the most fun and stressful times in my life. And I've actually considered going back and working for Walt Disney again because I really liked working in the parks.
Mm-hmm.
I actually worked in attractions at Soarin' Around the World in Epcot. So I got to dress in a 3-piece cobalt blue suit with a little bandana with hang gliders on it. So I got to wear that to work every day. That was fun. And making magic. I really got to do that a lot of the time, is just giving people those special experiences. I remember one time, Soarin' is a ride that goes up in the air and it turns around, so a lot of kids get scared. when they've never done it before. And I had this one little boy who was like, I'm real scared. And his dad's like, he is, but it's his birthday. And I was like, okay, I see you. So I snuck into the auditorium and I went over to the tower, which is the control panel. And I was like, hey, can you go put over the loudspeaker that it's so-and-so's birthday? And can we have the whole auditorium sing to them before we take them up? And we did that. And like, I'm tearing up thinking about it because that little boy and that father were so happy. And like, I got to watch them. We have little cameras that can see what people doing, and he didn't look scared at all.
Mm.
So it's just those little moments that I miss that.
Making little ones smile or laugh or giggle. You know,
100%.
a lot of times they're afraid of a big Mickey Mouse, person.
Yeah. I mean, the first time I went to Disney, I was 12, but I think if I went when I was younger, I would be a little freaked out by a giant mouse running over to hug me.
Run, danger. Can you
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just agreeing.
Can you share about some of the movies and TV shows you've been on last couple of years?
I have done a lot. Pretty much everything that has filmed in New York over the past year and a half, I've been on it.
Mm.
So I was recently a very big part of an episode of Law and Order SVU. I didn't get to speak, but I should have. That money always keeps people from doing that, but hopefully that's going to change. But I was actually in the little promo clip for it. And then I've done The Crowded Room, at all the Law and Orders I've done at least once. And I did Insidious in Jersey, the most recent Insidious that came out. Like, I really have to pick my brain to think of everything I've been on. American Horror Story, that was my favorite.
How do you find these roles? Do you have an agent that helps you find these roles? You just kind of, people reach out to you and say, hey, try out?
It's all me. I go to them, I'm like, here's what I look like, here's what I can do, hire me, please. And it works a lot of the time. I'm fortunate enough that I fit a certain type that they need a lot of, because there's not a lot of blondes in New York City. So I've gotten lucky in that way. But some of them do reach out to you based on your profiles, and it's all about how the different casting companies do it. I actually talk directly with casting directors, and that's how I get booked.
How do you prep for different characters? You kind of come up with a backstory. It kind of shows you how to do a little 2-minute little promo. I've seen some of your promos on your Instagram feed and whatnot. How do you prepare for a role, say a homeless person or whatever different roles you played?
It's really about, I've never experienced anything like that. It's taking as much as I know from similar circumstances and really just letting myself feel those emotions that maybe I've pushed down about certain things. And being able to open myself up and be vulnerable in front of an audience full of like hundreds of people, or even just a tiny camera that's right up in your face. Like, you just have to live in that world and put yourself in it. It's almost a state of like meditation when you get there. Because it's like, once you're there and you go, sometimes I don't even remember what I've done. Like, I'll just wake up after I hear cut and I'm like, what did I do with the thing? And they're like, that was the best thing you've ever done. And I was like, oh, great. I don't remember what I did. So I would really love to, so I could tap into that for the future.
Right. You have a technique when it comes down to learning your lines, or do you kind of ad lib and kind of fill in, like when you're having a conversation with someone who's not there and they throw lines at you? How do you is there learning technique for that?
I actually have the privilege of getting this from my mother. I have a photographic memory.
Well, nice. That's awesome.
So I can actually like take little screenshots of the words, and also finding emotions that connect to some words, because sometimes I find myself not being able to memorize certain words, but it's because I haven't used the word in my emotions. Acting is weird. It's all about emotions. It's just getting yourself vulnerable enough to feel whatever you need to feel in front of anybody you need to.
Have you been able to collaborate with other actors and actresses and kind of get additional tips and tricks and to better hone in your skills, as well as help others maybe hone in their skills a little better too?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do another one, but I did a master class last year where I do have a manager. His name is Darius, and we put together a little like master class with a bunch of us, and we all came together, and we weren't necessarily being taught, but we were all kind of learning things together and bouncing off of each other because at the end of this master class is when we were going to film a little short film. So, and I'm getting ready to do that again this September in LA.
Hmm.
So it's just like a collaborative little thing, like a group of people get together and we're just artists all staying in a house, just making a thing. And that's one of my favorite things about the creative arts is that a lot of the time it is a collaborative effort.
Hmm.
So the more people, the merrier.
You joined SAG and AFTRA in 2022. Can you share a little bit what SAG is?
SAG is the union that represents actors,
Okay.
sort of. It represents a very small pool of actors, which we are very much in the spotlight right now with our strike.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really like, it's the union where it does take a while to get in sometimes. You need waivers. So you kind of have to be lucky enough when you're non-union to be booked in a union role.
Mm.
So there's other ways to get into the union. Like you can actually, I considered doing this for a while and I almost did. Uh, if you sign under the SAG agreement and you make a project with another SAG actor, there's a way you can go about it to get in SAG that way.
Hmm.
But the most popular and quote unquote easiest way to get in is the waivers. So you just kind of got to fit a certain role. But once you're in the union, it's an amazing community.
Nice.
Like
Lots of
we're all
support and
together.
encouragement.
Yes. Especially right now. We are all just like hand in hand, like supporting each other through this, making new projects, independent things. That's the thing that all SAG actors are doing right now. And I think that's great. They're all moving into independent projects instead of ones tied to the AMPTP.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot more of the ideas that weren't getting the attention they were gonna before are going to now. So a lot of actors are going to be able to kind of spread their wings a little bit. And our union is really supporting us through it.
Nice. I was reading your bio, and you support yourself as a professional dog walker.
I do.
Would you mind sharing
That's
about
the
that?
fun part.
What's that like?
It has been the most, I've done the most personal growth as a dog walker than I have in any other job that I've done because it's not what you think. There's drama, there's everything. It's so exciting. Like every day I get to be with these pups and it's never going to be the same day twice. They're all fantastic. Some days somebody might be in a great mood. Other days they might not like me.
It's like people.
Exactly. Oh, and then you factor in the actual people in the situations and sometimes it gets really funky.
How many dogs do you walk?
Right now I probably walk 5 to 8 dogs a day, depending on what's going on with my clients and everything.
How
But it
many?
used to
How many miles?
it, 15 to 20.
Woof.
15 to 20 miles. That's why everyone's like, "Oh, are you a dancer? What do you do to work out?" Dogs.
They walk me.
That's 100% what it is too. I tell them where to go and I follow them. I just have the leash, so if anything bad happens, I can pull them back.
I see a lot of movies from New York, and someone's always walking dogs in the background, and they always get tangled up. How do you keep them
Always.
not getting tangled up?
You don't. It's kind of like I feel like I would be a really good basketball player at this
Okay.
point because you kind of got to dribble the leashes around each other, and it's cooperation between the owners more than anything. We got to be like, all right, the dogs are having fun. We don't want to ruin this, so just and I only walk One dog a day. At a time, I mean. One dog at a time.
Okay.
I have seen I've stopped the people that have had like 15 dogs before, and I was like, how do you keep them from doing things? Because I remember the specific person I asked, they had everything from a Yorkie to a Great Dane. So I had to ask, how? And they said it's pack mentality. If they're all calm, they'll stay calm. But if one goes off the rails, then they're all going to go off
Yep,
the
we're all
rails.
going off the rail. Yep.
Exactly. She said it so confidently, but I'm like, I've seen perfectly calm dogs freak out over a leaf. So
For somebody out there who's interested in doing this, how did you get involved in walking dogs as making it like a business or your job, if you will?
I was kind of like, it was the end of the pandemic. I was moving back to New York City, thank goodness, because I got a good deal on an apartment. So it just all worked out for me very well. And I was like, what am I good at? What am I good at? What do I want to do for like a little while,
Mm-hmm.
just till I find something else? And I was like, well, I can do Rover for a little bit. I can just try dog walking. And I ended up being extremely good at it. I'm very good with the dogs, and I like dogs, and I miss mine. I have a little French bulldog named Beatrice of my own. She's staying with my mom in Florida because I live in a 12-foot by 6-foot shoebox.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I was kind of looking for a way to put dogs back in my life without being able to own one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have never been without a pet in my entire life, except for like the brief moments I was in college and my stint at the Walt Disney World company.
Mm-hmm.
I have never not owned a pet of some sort. So when I moved back here, it was really like I was just coming back up from the pandemic. I'm like, I need something happy to do to make money.
Well, this podcast is all about encouraging others and sharing positivity. And throughout your career, who's been that person? You mentioned earlier, was this probably your mom, I'm guessing, kind of give you encouraging words, wisdom, helpful advice to kind of help you through some hard times?
I don't know how I would have gotten through a good portion of the crazy stuff that's happened in my life if it wasn't for her. Because my mom is a tough cookie, and she's a tough cookie with me. Like, for a little while, it was just her and I at the beginning of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for the first 7 or 8 years, my mom raised me on her own mostly.
Mm.
And she's always been brutally honest with me. Always. And that's been the biggest help for me is that my mom will put me in line if I get out in a way that she's like, you don't need to do that. You can just be a calm person.
And what's your mom's name?
Martha Haregsin.
Martha Haregsin. Well, thank you, Martha.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, you see
Seriously, I
that.
would not be here right now without you.
Well, thank you so much for the time and getting to know you and meet you, hear your story a little bit. It's been an honor, and I love just talking to people and getting
I do
the
too.
story and kind of what they've gone through and what they're doing. I started this about almost 18 months ago, and I wanted a coffee shop, which costs money, but podcasting is free. But I
Yeah,
love talking to people. It's so much fun.
I love it. And I love spreading positivity, encouragement because that's my biggest thing. That's why I love working with the dogs. Like it's such an uplifting thing for everybody when you can just go in, walk the puppy, see the people, do your thing. And
Of all
also
your
just
of all your dogs, do you have a favorite one? Is there your favorite kid you like to walk?
100%. 100%. His name is Frankie. He's a Frenchie.
Okay.
He's got a little crooked nose and he walks kind of stiff-legged, but he's the goofiest little man you'd ever meet in your life. He's got so much personality, and I am a little biased. I really like French bulldogs.
Well, thank you for the time. I really appreciate it. I wish you the best in your career as you're walking dogs and acting. Just you should keep being you, sharing laughter
Awesome.
and always love your mom. Call your mom, say
You
hi
do
to her.
too. Love
Thank
your
you for the time.
mom, love your dad, love everybody. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a lovely day, and I hope we get to talk again.
Yes, ma'am. Take care of yourself.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We'll return to the Chin Chan Encourage You One on the podcast after these messages.
When I say barbecue, does your mouth just start to water? Barbecue. Well, I got the place for you to go check out, right? Double D's, Barbecue and Smokery. They got the best tasting ribs, dry rub ribs, and the meat just literally fell off the bone the last plate I had. Delicious. Also, they have pulled brisket, pulled pork, sides like bacon, macaroni, and cheese, coleslaw, beans, and cream corn with green chilies. Little kick. Delicious. And the dessert, banana pudding. That's right, banana pudding. Where can you find that at, right? See, Brett and Don, the owners of Double D's, are both strong military veterans. They have found a home here in the Pacific Northwest, and their roots range from Texas to North Carolina and everywhere in between. They bring their amazing flavors to their ribs and their food truck, which is a catering business as well. You can reach them at 360-960-9093. They're on Facebook, Instagram. That's right, Double D's, Barbecue and Smokery. Delicious tasting ribs and barbecue. You got it. Check them out. I'd like to welcome one of the newest sponsors to the podcast, Mr. Alex Pablo. He specializes in assisting small to medium-sized local family restaurants establishments in enhancing their brand, identify, and cultivate a strong business image. He provides a comprehensive support through the creation and maintenance of professional business website, menu design, printing services, as well as implementing an effective online ordering system. His objective is to empower these businesses to flourish and achieve sustained success and increased online sales in their respective markets. Check out aldentedigitals.com for more information.
This second song I'm playing is about a musician. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube and Twitter, and he's a TikTok, and he's an award-winning nominated blues artist, and he brings it each and every time. His music takes me back to a show I used to watch all the time, NCIS New Orleans, and every episode in that show, music being played by a blues musician, and it was so much fun hearing that music. This is Sean Adam Williams, Big Bruno.
I want to tell you a story about a big man living in the crossroads in Aurora down in Georgia. He's got a big heart, a big soul, and a big soulful feeling. Yes, he's got it all. And he goes by the name of Big Bruno. Big Bruno is the soul man down in Georgia. He wants to do his thing up in California. He wants to do it on stage right in front of you. Big Bruno got a woman down in New Orleans. She fell in love with him, crazy as it seems. But then one day, Bruno got the spirit, hoping everything he got, so the whole world can hear it. His name is Big Bruno. Big Bruno. His name is Big Bruno. Big Bruno.
like to invite you to come on down and check out Go Toys and Games at the Kitsap Mall in Silverdale, Washington. Why? We have Hot Wheels, Funkos, puzzles, Barbies, Rubik's Cube, Monopoly, Clue, you name it, we got it. It's a fun store, it really is. There's so much stuff, old school, classic games, Labyrinth, and chess and checkers. Come on down to the Kitsap Mall in Silverdale and check out Go Games and Toys. See you soon.
Are you craving some authentic, fresh Mexican food? I am. I want to tell you about two businesses here in Silverdale, Washington. They're both locally owned and operated. They got some of the best tasting Mexican food around. The first one is Tequila Street. They're a local food truck located at 9571 Silverdale Way in Silverdale, Washington. They got some best tasting breakfast burritos you'll ever find, including the Breakfast Tex Burrito, the Breakfast California Burrito, the Breakfast Ultimate Burrito, and my favorite, the Barbecue Pork Burrito. Delicious. They also add items like tacos, burritos, and other great tasting items. Call and place your order today. Go out and pick it up at 360-914-9152. That's at Tequila Street. Also, at the Kitsap Mall, Tequila. They have 5 kinds of tacos there. That's right, 5, including burritos, taquitos, taco salads, and my favorite, grilled jalapenos, yummy, and many, many more delicious items. Also, on Taco Tuesdays, tacos are 50% off. That's right, 50% off. Where can you find that deal, right? Call and place your order today at 360-698-4335 or head over to the website at tequizatacoshop.com and get some more great tasting, authentic Mexican food at Tequiza, located at the Kitsap Mall. Their number again is 360-698-4335.
And this is my good friend, Kirsty Krause. I love her music. I love her style. This is Something New.
Never been a better time. They say good luck will miss you. We're always here if you ever feel like coming home. Don't forget where I came from when I moved away from the only life we'd have ever known. I've heard your sound playing in my head for sound. It's spinning in my heart, it's strong, going with the groove. I'm starting something new. I follow the tune, do whatever I gotta do. Ain't got nobody asking me to go hard and make that move. I'm starting something new. I'm starting something new. The rhythm of the city, the people all around me moving to their own beat. It gives me harmony as I live my melody. I can be who I wanna be. Endless possibilities. I've heard it sound playing in my head for sound. It's beating in my heart, it's strong, going with the groove. I'm starting something new. I follow the tune. beating in my heart that's strong, going with the groove. I'm starting something new.
That was Kirsty Krause, Something New. Thank you so much for joining the Chit and Chat Encouraging One Another podcast today. As we had a great conversation with Jolie Haregsin, actress, and she shared her story a little bit on how she, what she got to and what she's doing these days. It was really fun talking with her. Also, thank you to Corey James Grubb. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Spotify. Just search under Corey James Grubb. Also, thanks to Sean Adams Williams for his great song Big Bruno. I like that music he shares, and that kind of jazzy, soulful music. And thanks to Kirsty Krause, and she's been part of this podcast for a while, and I love sharing her music as well. Please follow, subscribe, and continue listening to this podcast as I try to encourage somebody somewhere with a great interview or some kind of good music that might help someone's going through a rough day. It's all about encouraging others and meeting people and sharing with life people from all over the world. This is Chit and Chat, the Encouraging One Another podcast. It's always about encouraging others. Have a great day. Until next time, God bless. Thank you again for joining this podcast. And not only that, this episode, this 100th episode, this milestone of hitting, and this podcast has hit today. And I look back on the many people I've had on this podcast, and the many musicians and comedians, and just the many conversations that I've had. And please go back and listen to some of the great conversations I've had. And I think I've gotten better when I first started out. I think I've improved my interviewing skills, and I'm trying to improve each and every episode. And I've had some tweaks and some problems along the way, but I've tried to fix those the best I could. And problems arise, but you all perseverance, keep moving forward, keep being consistent. I'll keep sharing encouragement and positivity with you, my many listeners out there. Let's keep it going. Let's keep sharing this podcast with the world and with our neighbors and co-workers, and just share on social media. And let's keep on sharing this amazing, fun, entertaining, encouraging podcast, the Chit and Chat Encouraging One Another podcast. Until next time, thank you for listening, and happy 100th episode today.
This is Chit and Chat, the Encouraging One Another podcast. It's always about encouraging others.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.